Searching for this all my life. You're just my type. I've been looking for a boy who can treat me right. Your dark hair, but those eyes so bright.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Scheananigans. We are coming up on Labor Day weekend, so I guess it's good I got my white wearing in for Backstreet Boys. I still will never understand the whole don't wear white after Labor Day thing. I will probably continue wearing white, but I also realize it's not the most flattering. Why didn't they do a blackout? You know, it was a whiteout, but then they came out in black. We'll get into that. But I hope everyone has had an amazing summer. I'm just here solo in the studio today, fresh back from Vegas. You guys sent in so many questions, starting with, did you do anything for your anniversary over the weekend? And how was the BSB show at the Sphere? You guys, they are coming back in December, maybe again next year, but it is worth it. This is the coolest experience I have ever had. That show, I mean, it was electric. Everyone's wearing white. We have all of these graphics like everywhere. I go from being in space to like inside a heart, and then there's a forest, and then we're in the snow. And I mean, it was insane. I'm going to be making a reel out of it this week, but absolutely insane. And what else was insane was today I wake up to see that Nick Carter, out of all of the photos he has taken on tour, he posted our photo as the main one on his swipe over. It's me, my cousin Chelsea, Brock, and our friend Daniel. We all did the, boy band pose, like whatever they were doing. And I couldn't believe that that was the first photo he posted and tagged us. It was just iconic. That show was amazing. We got to go backstage, meet the guys. We're singing all the songs. We're doing all the dances. It just was nostalgia at 100. I cannot wait to go back and see it again. And now they're going to have the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. So we will be taking Summer to see that in a couple weeks. And that's what we did for our anniversary. But I have to be honest because, okay, first of all, we have two anniversaries. We have the day that we did our papers, which is 8/28. That is what I associate with our anniversary. But the 23rd is the day that we got married in Mexico on the show. That's like our public anniversary, so everyone knows that one. So we had just planned this show for a weekend after book tour when we were both free and didn't realize that it was on our anniversary weekend. So we wake up Saturday morning to a text from Janet's mom. She had broke her foot or ankle the day before our wedding in Mexico. So she'll never forget the date of this happening to her. Wake up, she texts us, happy anniversary, guys. I'll never forget it. And I'm like, I look at the date and I go, oh my God, I forgot it. So I'm like, okay, we'll just play a joke on Brock and make him feel bad for a second. So Summer comes in and I show her. We have it literally hanging in our bathroom, this beautiful picture that my aunt had given us. It says 8/23/22. I look at it every day. So I'm like, Summer, come here. And I'm like, what are those numbers? And I show her, and then I show her the date, and she's like, what's that mean? I was like, it's mommy and daddy's anniversary. And she's like, am I coming? And I go, oh, we're going to Vegas. She gets so excited. I felt so bad. I go, no, mommy and daddy are going to Vegas. We'll take you back soon, but this is just an adult's trip. And so I said, so when daddy comes back from the store, you have to ask him if he knows what today is. So she's asking him, and he's just like not picking up what we're putting down. I'm like, honey, what is the date? And he looks and he's like, oh, is it our anniversary? I'm like, oh, you forgot? Like, how dare you forget? And he's like, wait, you remembered? I'm like, yeah, why do you think I planned Backstreet Boys this weekend? It's for our anniversary. I set everything up. So I don't know. Is that gaslighting or is that just whatever it is? I did that for a few minutes, let it go, and then had to admit, actually, I didn't remember either. It's a coincidence that this weekend. It was their last show. And I just got back from book tour. Last weekend, I wasn't able to go see them. So we just picked going to their last show. And it just so happened that it was our anniversary. So everyone thought that was our plan for our anniversary. But in reality, we forgot that it was our anniversary, probably because I didn't have it on the calendar. And Brock asked why it wasn't on the calendar. And I said, I don't know. I might have taken it off the calendar a couple years ago when I was mad at you because I didn't want to remember that date. But our official on paper anniversary is the 28th. So we'll celebrate it again this week. But yeah, great weekend in Vegas. We did a sober weekend in Vegas. 1 week, no drinking after last Monday night at Daniel's birthday. I had Zach and Kyle Chan so graciously just bringing me espresso martini after espresso martini. I think some were maybe with vodka, some were with tequila. There were some shots that were taken with Brock's family visiting from Australia. We ended up at the Abbey, kind of a blur. So the next day, I don't really get hungover. It's very rare I get hungover, but also I don't get drunk often. I drink often, but I don't really ever get to that level. But I got there Monday night with all my gays in WeHo, and it was a lot. The next day, it was my sister's birthday. We had to get on a ferry to Catalina. I grew up on speedboats, so I'm not really one to get motion sickness. I was a little worried for the ferry, but thankfully it was smooth waters, got there, just hung over all day. Debated, do I hair of the dog it? But I'm like, that's what I did on book tour. It was just like, I kept having an espresso martini every city winery. They'd bring me an Aperol Spritz, and then it just became a hair of the dog excuse every day. And so I was like, no, we are not doing this. We are fighting through this hangover. And then we're just going to do a little cleanse. So my liver thanks me for the past week. And it was really nice to wake up in Vegas, not hungover. I mean, we were exhausted because we were just up late last night. But the first night there for our anniversary, we did dinner with my family and then came back to the hotel. We go upstairs to change. We're like, okay, let's go listen to some live music. What the concierge or whoever was talking about, there was like a DJ. I'm like, that's not, technically, sure, it's live, but that's not the live music I was wanting. We wanted to see like a band or something. So then we are looking around. We're like, there's nothing to do. Let's just take a bath and watch Grey's Anatomy. So that is what we did for our anniversary night. Got up early the next morning, went to the gym, and I'm very sore today, but I was very proud of myself that I put my health first in Vegas because we don't always do that. So that was our weekend. It was so much fun. So yeah, that kind of sums up our weekend. Fontainebleau hooked us up with the most amazing suite. We had a connecting room for Daniel. We had brunch at La Fontaine, and it was just the best. That hotel, if you guys haven't been, 5-star. It's all brand new. The shops, the restaurants, everything was it was the best. I can't wait to go back. But that was our anniversary weekend that we didn't realize was our anniversary until we were getting ready to board a flight. I'm going to take a little break and then we will get into all of these questions. You guys send in so many. I'll get to as many as I can and then I'll save the rest for next time, but we'll be right back. All right, so y'all have heard me talk about this on the podcast before, but I'm going to tell you again because I finally got half of my results, and this is why I chose Function, because it's the only health platform that gives you access to the kind of data that most people never see. And literally the results that I got, I was very pleasantly surprised. I was happy with most, but there was one thing that was not great. So with Function, it's like they give you the insights to actually take action. And I am taking action, and I have a doctor's appointment today to check my cholesterol because apparently that's a little high. I'm still waiting for the other half of my results. And next week on the podcast, I will be going into an extensive review of everything. But literally, inside function, you can test for over 160 biomarkers. And I thought I wanted to get tested to see if I'm in perimenopause, see what my stress hormones and thyroid and all of those things. All of that so far looks fine. It was my cholesterol that was the issue. But lab visits are fast and convenient. I got in and out in less than 15 minutes. They have over 2,000 locations across the US. It's $4.99 a year. That is only $1.37 per day for cutting edge health insights. Trust me, it is worth every dollar, and all results are tracked over time in one secure place so you see how your health evolves. Learn more and join using my link. The first 1,000 get $100 credit towards their membership. Visit www.functionhealth.com/goodasgold or use code goodasgold100 at sign up to own your health. All righty. So back to your questions. Why was there such a big gap between announcing your book and it actually being released? The best way I guess I could describe it is it's kind of like how designers show their collections at Fashion Week for the next season, which is like 6 months away, Those shows are for buyers from different stores, boutiques, want to see the collection and whatnot, so they can make their orders and have it on hand. So when you announce a book, it's kind of similar that you do it so far in advance because that's the timetable different retailers are working with. It was a whole science and production that I had no idea about. I just know that that's how it goes. And, usually there's an even longer lead up. We actually were going to announce way sooner. I think we were going to announce like back in December, but then something happened. I don't know if it was a natural disaster. There was something. And then we're like, okay, we'll push it like 2 weeks. And then there was the whole thing that happened with James Kennedy. And then there was a new date that we were going to post the announcement, and then there were all of the fires in LA, and it was just something kept happening that held me back from posting because there were just way bigger things going on in the world. So I absolutely was not going to do that. It didn't feel right, but by the time we needed to announce, it's like we couldn't hold it any longer because then they would have missed the retailer deadlines to purchase the book. So that's the whole timeline of how all of that went. But yeah, it should have been actually longer. All right. Ooh, lots of mommy questions. Hold on. I'm going to hold those and let's do some Bravo ones first that you guys sent in. Thoughts on the Tamra versus Gretchen feud? I know you're friends with both. I am friends with both. I did just catch up on the episode and I'm a little confused because the stories were kind of changing. Gretchen never mentioned anything about this to me. She had said on the show, that she never said that she was hospitalized. Then you go to Katie's interview and she's like, this is exactly what she said. But then you go to the van and you see Gretchen tell Tamra, well, yeah, I did go to the hospital. But then Gretchen's interview says that she never went to the hospital. So I'm very confused and I'm hoping that we get some clarity in the next few episodes. My girl Kiki was just on this week. I haven't seen that episode yet. I've only seen little clips so far. So hopefully this comes all together because I am confused as I've known Gretchen for, 15 years now. And I feel like if that happened to her, she would have mentioned that to me. So maybe she really did go to the hospital, and maybe at that lunch when she was saying it to Katie, somehow that's what Katie thought she said, or I don't know. Katie's been known to be a liar or embellish. So look, I believe my friends. So I get why even Gretchen was wanting to believe Katie, but it's too messy right now for me to try and give my opinion on because I am still confused. Okay, next question. If you could produce one crazy ass hit show on Bravo, which Bravo Lebs are you casting? Ooh, I love this. So I was just saying this the other day. I don't remember to who. Maybe I was saying it on the podcast. But I would love to do a show similar to The Challenge. Probably not quite as rigorous as a lot of the Bravo Labs are not athletes. But, maybe we shoot it somewhere down under, Australia, New Zealand. And I don't know, say for one season, we maybe do all girls or girls and gays, housewives versus non-housewives. Something like that I think could be cool. Get like Dolores, Tamra, Shamia, who else? Like Crystal, Cynthia, Ashley Darby, Dorinda, got my gigglers, Paige and Hannah, Maddie Reese, TJ. There's so many people. MJ, Gigi, like everyone. I mean, that would be so fun. So I would love to do something along those lines. Also, I think we should have more crossovers with Below Deck. I think Captain Jason should take a group of us on the yacht and do something like that. That would just, you hook up with, not me, but like someone who is on the crew, hooks up with someone who is a guest, gets messy. Yeah. So let's see. Okay, moving on. What is one thing you wished you could have added to the book but didn't? Honestly, I feel like I added pretty much everything to the book. If anything, I would say I do wish I could have given more details on some of my escapades, whatever you want to call them, in the early 20s. But also, I felt like I said enough knowing that my daughter's probably going to read this book one day. I didn't need to give all of the nitty-gritty details, but it would have added a lot of color to that chapter. It would have been very entertaining to read and listen to. But I think I added enough for that book. I'm sure I'll write another book and we'll see what's in that one. But for this, it was enough. What was the most challenging thing to talk about in your book besides RHOC? I think just thinking back to reading the audiobook myself, I think that reliving my traumatic birth with Summer, that was one thing that was hard to relive. It's not that it was necessarily hard to write out, but once I had to read it out loud, it's much easier to type a spoken word, but when you have to actually speak it, that was challenging because it just took me back to a really scary, traumatizing time. However, thanks to the extensive EMDR work I've done, it did make it easier to relive and read out loud. But yeah, definitely the RHOC stuff was the most challenging. Favorite memories from tour? What was the funniest thing that happened or was asked on your book tour? I mean, there were some raunchy questions. I literally, last night at Backstreet Boys, was backstage with JC Chazé and his girlfriend. There were so many people there, but I'm like, of course, the night I come, he's there. But it was all totally friendly, said hi to his girlfriend again. But I'm like, the last time I saw them, the book wasn't out yet. I think it was just announced. This time I was like, the book is out, but they seemed fine. So that was great because that was one thing I was worried about. I'm like, I am still friends with some of these guys, and is me naming them or saying things going to cause a rift of some sort? But so far it hasn't, and I feel like it would have by now. I didn't say anything bad. I literally put, his photo and his name in the book, and that was all. But there were some questions about him on book tour during the sip or spill game, and I just out of respect sipped. A funny moment though. I don't remember if we talked about this on the podcast or not, but when we were in Cincinnati, these two girls came up on stage and told me a story about Tom Sandoval's girlfriend, Victoria, when she met them in St. Louis. And I guess Victoria said that she really didn't like my song, Good as Gold, how I pause when I say good as gold. She's like, doesn't that annoy you guys? It really annoys me. And it was just the story these girls told and the way they told it was so hilarious because I guess Victoria just like said to these girls like, oh, do you guys like Scheana? Like, well, she's this or she's that or whatever. But the good as gold moment, I'm like, I'm glad I live rent free in your head and that my song bothers you, that there's a pause at the last good as gold. So that was funny. I loved having Summer on stage with me singing Good as Gold. Speaking of, that was amazing. All of my queens, all of the drag queens I had in every city, it was such an amazing element added. There were so many amazing performances. I can't believe it's over. Like, it went so quick. It was, back to back to back. We did 3 legs, that second leg, 5 nights, 5 cities in a row. But I would absolutely do it again. The first show on tour, when we were leaving to go to the second one, I was like, I don't know if tour life is for me. But we got through it and I was like, oh no, I could absolutely do this again, and I will be. Has releasing the book made you more confident now, or are you worried what people think? I will say not just writing the book, but being on book tour absolutely helped my confidence. Making the New York Times bestsellers list genuinely helped my confidence, because as much as I knew this was a really good book that I wrote and it was good enough to make bestsellers lists, I didn't know if it would. I didn't know if it would resonate with the audience like I hoped it would. I didn't know if people were going to buy the book or just be haters and be like, well, we're just going to read the blogs about it and get the recaps and whatnot. So that absolutely helped my confidence. I do feel like I'm getting it back. Like I said, I went to the gym in Vegas. Who does that? I mean, a lot of people. There were a lot of people in the gym, but usually I'm not the person who does that. So I'm getting that motivation back, because I know, as sore as I am right now, I feel better when I work out. I told Brock yesterday, I said, my goal for next summer is to be confident walking around the pool, wherever, at a hotel or wherever we may be, in a bathing suit. That is genuinely something I've never been confident in, because I've never actually put in the work to have a fit bod. I've lost the weight. I've changed my body type when I, like, season 3 and 4. I mean, I just had never worked out at all. I really got in shape season 5, but then I got really thin, and then I lost my ass, and then it was just like trying to balance being a small person but staying fit. And it's easy to fall off when I'm like, whatever, I'm small and my clothes fit, so it's fine. But then I look at myself in the mirror and I don't like what I see when I don't have clothes on. I don't like the way I look and feel in a bathing suit. I always want to have a cover up or a wrap on. And there's a chance next summer we could be filming a TV show, and I just want to feel confident in as little clothes as possible. So that's my goal. We're starting. We're back in the gym, and that will help my confidence as well. Did anyone read your book and get offended or upset with anything you wrote? Probably, but that hasn't been relayed to me yet, so I don't know. Okay, we're going to take one more break and rapid fire some more questions. Okay, and you guys, if you want a good laugh, then I have the movie for you. You may have seen me post about this last week. I was lucky enough to get a little screener, but Searchlight Pictures' new movie, The Roses, y'all, it is so freaking hilarious. You need to see it. It's about this perfect couple, Ivy and Theo Rose, who literally have it all. They've got the successful careers, a loving marriage, great kids, yada, yada. But when Theo's career comes crashing down just as Ivy's fame starts to skyrocket, a tinderbox of fierce competition and growing resentment ignites, threatening to destroy everything they've built if they don't destroy each other first. All's fair when love is war, And for anyone who's ever been in a relationship like me, The Roses is a crowd-pleasing comedy. It's starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Olivia Colman, Andy Samberg, Allison Janney. I mean, there are so many incredible people in this movie, and it is just absolutely hilarious. In theaters everywhere this Friday. Get tickets now. All right. Let's go quick. We're on a time crunch. I got a busy day. Would you do a version of VPR that is filmed like Teen Mom where you all film separately, then have a reunion together with all the OGs, you, Lala, Stassi, etc.? Ooh, that is a cool idea. I think that's what we were trying to do for season 12 was maybe just like everyone films their own thing. It's a farewell season. Maybe there's a reunion, probably not. But I think eventually we're going to, like just like high school, we're going to have a 10-year, a 15-year, 20-year, whatever. There will be a Vanderpump Rules reunion, I think. It's not like I have any say in that, but I just feel like there's got to be a where are they now eventually sort of special. Why are you now open to a conversation with Rachel? Look, with Raquel, I think what I said is if she wanted to speak to me now, enough time has passed that we could have a productive conversation now that so much time has passed. But it's not something I'm going to actively pursue by any means. Just, if one day we run into each other, we do still have mutual friends. If it happens, it happens. But I'm not trying to reach out to Raquel. Where do you and Katie stand now? I'm on season 10 of my rewatch and it's tense. Haven't seen her or spoken to her in almost a year. So that's where we stand. Clearly far apart. Katie has spoken about your wedding, suggesting they wouldn't have filmed it without her coming. Thoughts? That's absolutely not true. Of course they wanted her to come because they wanted the drama. It was like around her and Tom's wedding anniversary. They wanted her to film. They wanted the drama with Raquel and all of that. So it was ultimately Katie's decision. Katie did not have to come to Mexico. Was production pushing her? I'm sure. Of course, they want that awkward drama. It's a reality show. But that's ultimately her choice. So she chose to come. Obviously, she doesn't want to miss out on an episode as much as they do the flashbacks to what's still going on in LA. I think she wanted to be there. She wanted to go to Mexico. She wanted the, free cast trip. But no one ever wants to be left out of a trip. No one wants to miss money. And as you know, when it was Katie's trip, the girls' trip to Havasu, I missed out, not just on filming, but I missed out on the money and the trip. So, but that wasn't up to me. My wedding was up to her. No one forced her to go. Do you feel like you lost any friends since the book was released? I don't know that I lost any friendships, but it definitely put some relationships into better perspective. I will say that. Are you and Lala still friends? Why didn't she post anything about your book? So I think it was like maybe a week after it came out, I saw she posted a slide and just said at Scheana. There was nothing else that she posted. I had reached out to her a couple days after all of the boxes were delivered because I'm like, yes, you do expect your closest friends to post and support. And I sent everyone a really nice PR box. I'm sure you guys saw some others who posted it. And I reached out and I was like, hey, did your box come? Because, I hadn't seen it posted yet. And I just wanted to make sure I didn't need to reach out to the publisher to be like, hey, Lala didn't get her box. And she said that her brother and her mom deal with the packages and that she would have them check. But then a week went by and the box didn't get posted. So I'm assuming she got it because she posted the book at Scheana. So yeah, still friends. The girls are still friends. Are you obsessed with K-pop Demon Hunters? Am I? Literally in my head right now, golden. I'm obsessed with the music and the movie. What shows are you watching? I just started Platonic and I am obsessed with that. After I saw Rose Byrne and Seth Rogen do the little sketch on Watch What Happens Live of me and Kristen, I was like, whoa, wait, I need to watch Platonic. So that's my next show that I am binging. I'm on like episode 5 or 6 right now. How are we spelling Sche-Schu, or is it Sche-Schu? Sche-Schu. Spell it however you want. I don't care. It's not actually my name. If you could only save one personal item from a fire, what would you grab? Anything summer related. The box with all of her baby stuff, even though it's in a fireproof safe box, I would grab those very important things. If you could have dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would it be and why? Ooh. Marilyn Monroe, because she just was the icon of all icons. And oh, yeah, absolutely. What would your final meal be? Dessert and drinks included. I'm not really a dessert person. It would be anything that my mom makes. Honestly, I would just want a home-cooked meal from my mama. When are you going to sell your Scheana's Famous Enchiladas pan? I need one. Oh, that was just made for me. That was a Christmas gift. So you could order your own, I'm sure. It was probably on Etsy or something. Have you ever checked out your WikiFeet page? You have quite a high rating. You know what? I didn't know what that was until Janet told me about it. So yes, I have seen it. Can you please come to Toronto for a live show for your Canadian fans? I am looking into that. I am trying to make that happen. So stay tuned because I would love to do that. I would also love to go to the other coast of Canada and do a Vancouver one. So stay tuned. Do you still frequent the Covina area? I have run into you a few times, but too shy to say hi. Whoever you are, please say hi next time. I'm in Azusa, Covina, Glendora all of the time, and I would love to take a pic with you. So say hi. I don't bite unless you want me to, but then even I still wouldn't. Are there things you are NDA bound that you can't share? Yes. All right, wrapping it up. Jack's hole of the week. You know what? I'm going to put that in y'all's hands. Comment below on YouTube. Name me your Jack's hole. I did this at a couple of my live shows. I just gave the mic to someone in the audience and I said, give me your personal Jack's hole. So I'm going to leave this one up to you guys this week. Comment below. Let me know who is your Jack's hole. And thank you for listening, for watching. And if you haven't gotten a copy of your New York Times best-selling book, My Good Side, then what are you waiting for? You can head to mygoodsidebook.com and get yours. We will be back getting into more shenanigans next week. Thank you guys, and we're out.
I've been searching for this all my life.